George Payton and the Combine. That's where Cecil is live in Indianapolis, making his way back tonight, and we'll be back in studio reunited next week. But Nik Bonitto, it's a conversation about extensions, and we talked about Courtland Sutton's extension earlier this week. So if you ever missed the program, make sure you're back at denversports.com catching up on our podcast. But the extension for Nik Bonitto, that was a question thrown George Payton's way, and here was his answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a priority to you've kind of seen our model, the young player draft, develop, even like guys like Bowles. We like to take care of our own, and so we'll just see. And Nick's obviously had a breakout year. He's a dynamic player, and we want him here a long time.
I like that he says you kind of know our model. And you and I have talked about that exact model a couple of different times. And I think if that's what George is telling us and we know what the model is, well, then I think we know the answer, Cease. And you tell me how much you disagree with my idea of it. The answer is they're not going to extend Nik Bonitto before, let's call it the earliest week 6 of the NFL season, week 8 of the NFL season. Let's see where their bye falls when the schedule comes out. But their model is we draft, we develop, just as George said there. And then if you exceed expectations or you live up to those expectations as to who you're being developed into, then we can start to talk about an extension. Has Nick done that last year? Yeah. They just want to see it a little bit more than the year, and then they're willing to give the extension. So I think that's a pretty fair way to look at it. If George is telling the media, hey, you guys kind of know what it is, I would assume, Cecil, because I think one of the best things you could do as a boss, in my opinion, and I've been one like twice in my whole life, is establish expectations. Let them know what you're expecting them to do on a day in or a game in and game out basis, in this case with an athlete, and then they have something to strive for and achieve, and then know that it's time to get that next deal. So I would assume if George is telling us that, he's certainly telling the players the same exact thing.
Yeah, and the players know what's up. Now, Kev, I need you to do some research because the internet in Indianapolis is not great, Bob. What? Technology? Here's some more fried food. Anyway, when did Quinn Miners get done? When did Pat Surtain get done? Like, if these are during the season, and my memory's hazy, but, like, if it's at the season at some point, like, okay, there you go. I know Garrett Bowles a little bit later there, but, like, if you look at where they've done other guys in a similar situation, that tells me, like, during the season. And with Nik Bonitto,
it was July for Quinn, by the way. July for Quinn Miners.
July for Quinn. Okay, that's the earliest you would see for Nik Bonitto, but he's going to get handsomely paid. Guards get paid as well, but not as much as tackles. And tackles, that took a little bit longer, right? Different situation, older player, whatever. But with Pat Surtain, that's a big money deal. Garrett Bowles, that's a big money deal. Quinn Miners is a big money deal as well. So we need to look at when, not just why, but when this happens for this team, because they are definitely draft and develop. That's a Greg Penner edict. It's a mandate from the top of the mountain where Greg Penner resides. Like, you're going to be a draft and develop. So D&D. So your dungeon master is George Payton. You got to get this thing done. You got to roll that 30-sided dice, girl, and make sure that it comes up. Nik Bonitto stays in Denver. The price is going to be the price. But Nik Bonitto stays in Denver because every single year, rookie season, not great, Bob. Second season, flash. Wait a second, what? Third season, stud. Mm-hmm. What's the next season going to be?
Well, I think
we're fixing to find out.
I love what you said there. Like, you can't. There's a few positions in the NFL that you just can't go cheap on. It's quarterback, it's left tackle, it's pass rusher, and it's cornerback. There's no $5 DVD deal when it comes to those positions. And if it's a player that you believe in, and I think we all do with Nik Bonitto, you don't cut corners, you don't lowball, because that's going to come back and bite you in the face. I fully believe, man, that you always get what you pay for. Always get what you pay for. So you just don't lowball those positions. Nik Bonitto is going to get his bag, because I believe that he will come out and show, hey, the first 6-7 weeks, you have 5-6 sacks, and you just kind of pick up right where you left off. So Bonitto's bag, it's on its way. It's on its way. Sutton also got his deal in July. So, yeah, they take their time, man.
Yeah, they'll take their time. They'll do it right, and we could do it Broncos, baby. That's what you do it tonight, or, well, in July, or maybe sometime during the season. Here's the problem if you wait. One, it's bad business. Two, because every player's looking. How do the Broncos do business? Oh, Greg Penner, he hooks you up. You got to produce. I can produce. I want to go play for the Broncos, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's how players look at the situation. So not only just from the league the league vantage point, look at it from Nik Bonitto. What do I got to do? Every single year I've gotten better, and these guys haven't paid me. Now I'm mad. Now I'm still producing, and now my price went up. And the amount of price, if you wait till week 7 or whatever, each week might cost you a couple more million. Each sack might cost you a couple more million. Do it around July or whenever you see fit, but make sure it happens so that Nik Bonitto stays here, and make sure that he's not upset and he doesn't have the price go up. That's the risk that you have. So the risks far outweigh the reward, and the reward is, here's a bunch of money. You get to play for the Broncos. Awesome.
I'd love that reward. Sign me up for that reward. I'll just take the money, actually. I don't really have a lot of interest in playing football.
I could throw it on Twitter and just ask at Broncos, or, throw it at, try to get Greg to respond, right?
Yeah.
Greg, could you please just pay Dover and I and Kev to, play for the Broncos? We won't actually play,
Yeah.
but we'll be fairly cheap on the salary cap.
You guys need anybody to, clean up stuff in the locker room after everybody leaves?